Blue! I'm running out of ideas.
Dude, what day is it?
Why, it's December 20th.
Interesting.
Can't wait. More like it's more.
Oh, the people are gonna love this.
Cap, I don't like this idea.
Come on, come on, come on. Yeah. Oh shit.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's the Christmas season. It's the Christmas season. Isn't that amazing? I want you guys to comment down below. What would you guys like for Christmas? You know, if you were to ask me what I wanted for Christmas, honestly, I'd want all you guys to like and subscribe. We're trying to grow the community, one post at a time, even though those posts may be, you know, once every 5 months. All that out of the way, the first animation of today comes in by Lyric.1238, and it's a blue emoji, a lock emoji, and a soccer ball emoji. Need I say more? I'm pretty sure I already have blue lock figures. Now, I don't know who these figures are from. This looks a lot like Delo's style. Also, Delo did tell me a little tip to help with the lag. If I just go to options and then turn off show filters, it's a lot less laggy. So we have these two figs here. So my plan for this animation, I kind of want this guy here to like start off the attack. Maybe he'll kick the ball up a couple, maybe dribble past somebody, and then he's gonna play, he's gonna kick the ball overhead to this guy, and then he's gonna control it, and then, you know, pretty simple. So that means I don't need you. Do I even have a soccer ball? I don't even have a soccer ball. Sticknodes.com over here. Objects. Oh, what? Would you guys look at that? Who is that? By Razms. Oh, okay. And boom, here we are. Yeah, that looks good. But we're not gonna need it right now because I'm actually gonna animate this guy separately and then do the soccer ball. So, you know, I guess we need a time lapse. Alright, so this is what I have so far, and it might look weird. You guys are just gonna have to wait until I add the ball in. But basically, he's gonna control the ball with his chest, and then he's gonna kick it up with this leg right here to push the ball forward. And then he runs with the ball and maybe dribbles somebody. So then he can, you know, cross it over to the other guy. It's coming along, it's coming along. You guys see what I'm talking about? So boom, controls it and then kicks the ball. I have to kind of like change the run-in animation or the run loop so that it matches the ball. Let me actually just add the ball or animate a little bit of it so you guys know what I'm talking about. There you go. That took actually way longer than I expected. Now I'm kind of scared to animate the rest of this. That ball took, wow, okay. Either way, you guys kind of get the idea. He chests it up and then boom. I'm just gonna finish the rest of this and then I guess I'll get back when it's time to animate the ball. All right, I made a little bit of progress. Slides and then kicks the ball up. You see the vision. I know you guys see the vision. Come on. And now he's gonna line up for the shot. Alright, this should be the final animation. Yes! Good. Alright, that actually looks really nice. Alright, you guys saw how long it took to add the ball last time, so I'm probably just gonna skip through this part, and I'll come back to you guys after I finish animating the ball. And there you go. The first part of this animation is complete. It looks pretty cool. I added the ground and obviously the ball. And then I also did some camera work. I think it's easier to visualize what I was actually animating now that you have the ball to base it off of. So with this out of the way, you guys might actually think I'm about to animate the second guy like receiving the ball, like I said. Pause. But I actually need to animate the opponents. And how am I going to do that, you may ask? Well, luckily I found this in my library. I don't know where I got this from. If somebody in the comments could tell me, please. But yeah, we have to animate the opponents first. So that's kind of what I'm going to do here. Yeah, I mean, he kind of disappears, but you get the idea. Alright, I think I have the two opponents down. So he chests the ball and then crosses up that guy, slides under that guy, and then passes the ball. Looks pretty cool. And now obviously you guys know what's next. We have to animate the second guy getting the ball and then scoring it in the goal. Alright, here's the second guy, and what I want him to do, I want him to run backwards and then flick the ball up and then turn around and then finish first time. I feel like this is gonna look pretty sick, but we're not gonna know until we animate it, so, you know, let's roll the time lapse. Alright, we have like the basic touch. I think I have too many frames here actually. Alright, we just gotta get the landing and then him turning around, then the strike. Should be pretty simple. Alright, let's see. Boom, kicks it, passes it to him. Takes a touch, turn. The hands are a little bit choppy. Actually, I think everything's a little bit choppy. There's some things that could use some work, but I think we're getting there. I think we're almost there. Alright, I think I've done the best I can. I usually limit myself to about like an hour and 30 minutes per animation. So for what it's worth, I think this is pretty good. Obviously, I haven't added the ball and everything. But yeah, you can kind of see the vision. Just like the first part of this animation, I'm gonna skip the part where I add the ball and everything like that. Just because that's just extra footage, you know. But yeah, for now it looks good. And next time you see me, you'll probably see the final animation. And we are finally done with the first animation. I did some camera work, added the ball. It looks really cool. You know what? I'll give myself props. For the first animation of the day, I think it's really important to start off strong, and we started off strong. This is my first time animating Blue Lock, or like animated football or any sport, so it was kind of hard to work with the ball, I can't lie. The physics and stuff like that, you have to keep that in mind, and you also have to make it match up with the player's animations as you're keeping the physics in mind. So yeah, it's a little bit difficult. The ball alone took me probably half an hour to animate. So yeah, props to all those Sticknodes Blue Lock animators. Thank you Lyric1238 for submitting this, and let's move on to the second animation. And it is now time for the second animation. Now you guys might be wondering, where's the default figure? I thought we were supposed to be starting the animation. Well, we did. Long story short, the footage kind of got corrupted, but it doesn't really matter. I've only done 32 frames. Now that everything is cleared up, the second animation of today, it comes from Nagio, and it's a spider emoji, a basketball emoji, and what's the name? What? Person bouncing ball. Okay, so yeah, I'm pretty sure you guys already get the idea. I wanted to use this submission as an excuse to remake one of my old animations, and it's basically Miles Morales bouncing a spider ball. So we can already do like a side-by-side comparison right here. This is all I've gotten down so far. Luckily, I had to go do something, so I had to stop the recording, and then I come back and the recording is just not there. So I'm glad I stopped early, because now you guys actually get to see me animate the whole thing. Speaking about that, let's roll a time lapse. Alright, so I've basically gotten up to the part where he grabs the ball. Now, apart from the animation that I'm remaking, I have not animated basketball, just like I haven't animated football. So this video is a little bit about getting out of my comfort zone, animating stuff that I wouldn't normally animate. So, you know, it's a learning experience for me, and probably for you too. But yeah, I feel like it looks pretty good so far. Now I've just got to transition him into, like, what I want. I kind of want him to stand up on this leg, maybe a pose kind of like this, so then he can throw it. Yeah, I feel like that would actually feel really good. So maybe him transitioning into a pose like this, you know, like shooting it. Oh wow, I'm sorry. I am so sorry. Alright, we've got the background and the camera work done. And I was thinking, because I didn't show you guys how I animated the ball last time, I might as well do it now. It's really just extra footage, but you know, maybe some of you guys want to see that. If not, you can be like everybody else and skip to the final animation. You know, either way, viewing the video helps, liking the video definitely helps. Alright, I think I've got the ball down. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Yeah, I'm fine with it. Now that we have everything from the first scene complete, it's time to go on to the second scene where the ball actually bounces off the backboard and then gets webbed out. It still looks unfinished, obviously, but you know, once we add the ball and the camera and stuff like that, it should look a lot better. That was a really long time lapse. So what I'm gonna do, just like the last animation, I'm gonna skip the part where I add the ball, but you guys will see a time lapse of like the web and the camera and stuff like that. And you know, I'll get back to you guys after I'm finished adding the ball. And there you go, I've added the ball. Took a little bit longer than expected, but I did add this thing. Well, you just saw it there. I was animating the ball separately from the also I did add some extra frames, like I said, but I was adding the ball separately from the frames, and just by chance at this frame the ball hit his foot, so I was like, wouldn't it be cool if it flung into the other net? And it was cool. I was right. So yeah, this is basically the final animation. All that's left to add is the camera work, really, and I do want to add a background. I feel like that would be nice, and I did have a background in the original, so it only makes sense. But also, like I promised, it's time to add the camera work. Alright, the camera work is done. And now the second to last step, oh, well, the third to last step is to obviously add the webs. So it shouldn't take long, but you know, I'll still give you guys a time lapse. Alright, and the web is done. Honestly, I didn't expect it to take that little frames. Yeah, the web was only there for like 7 frames. But overall, the animation looks fine, so it doesn't really bother me. Now, as promised, I will add the background. This is actually dead footage. I mean, I'm just gonna give you guys, here's what it looks like to add the background. Paste. Yeah, you get the, it's literally dead footage. So with the clap of my hand, this whole thing is gonna be filled with the background. 3, 2, oh, okay, wow, we're finished. Did I ever say 1? In some parts of the animation, you can see like the outside of the park. So how I'm gonna fix that is by putting this here, scaling it up, moving it to the back, and making it the same color as the court. And with that, the second to last step is finished. Now you guys might notice I did say second to last because I do want to add something that I haven't added to my Spider-Man animations in a long time. I mean, they're as simple as going here, type in whip, scaling it up, changing the text to white, changing the shadow to black, and using the impact font. And I think that's the final animation. Now obviously I might like refine it a little bit, so what you're seeing on screen might be different from what I actually animated, but like at the core, it looks like a pretty good animation. A good way to like visualize how much I've learned. I mean, we can put up the old animation as like a comparison. Obviously the one right now is better, but it's nice to see how practice really does make perfect. If you guys want to, you can check out my 11 principles of Sticknodes video. That does like, it basically just breaks down everything you need to know to learn how to get good at animating. A lot of people tell me, oh, I follow the principles, I'm still not good. Just practice the principles. Doing the principles isn't what makes you good at animation, it's practice that makes perfect. Without out the way, the second animation is complete, and it's time to move on to the last animation. So the last submission of today's video comes in by Volt_1342, and it's a money bag emoji, a ninja emoji, and a skateboard emoji. Sorry guys, I think my voice is gone. Now I don't have a ninja emoji, but I do have this guy. Whoa. Now I did make this myself. Thank you. Yep. Okay, yep. Thank you. Okay, that's enough. You guys are getting pretty loud. Okay. And of course, we do have the skateboard. Now, I don't know how big a skateboard is supposed to. I didn't even go over my plan. So my plan for this animation, I originally wanted him to like break out a building, and I might still do that. Break out of a building and just start kick flipping and tricks like that, you know? And then I want the cops to be chasing him. And I did find this money bag figure on the Sticknodes website. So now we have something from the hold. I do actually believe, I think my voice is gone. I might not actually talk much this one, but I'm gonna parent it here. And I guess we have to start animating. So I've got a like base little animation here, and I want to test out how I'm gonna actually animate this because I don't know how to approach it. The obvious choice is to animate the robber first and then the skateboard after, so we're gonna see how that looks first. Alright, let's see. Yo! That actually looks really good. Now obviously I'm gonna animate the physics for the money bag and stuff like that, but right now it's just good to focus on the fundamentals before you start overdoing stuff, because that's how you get burnt out when animating, and that's what you want to avoid. But yeah, it looks pretty good. Just gotta animate him falling. Let me drink some water. My voice. Alright, it's the next day, and since that last clip you guys just saw, all I managed to add was about a couple of frames, because I literally went over the whole animation and re-animated the hands. It just didn't follow the physics. So I've decided to come up with a new approach. I'm gonna actually animate the body, then I'm gonna animate the hands, then I'm gonna animate the head. I see a lot of professional Sticknode animators do it, but I've never tried it, so might as well try it today. Alright, the animation is almost finished. At this part here, I'm thinking he grinds over a police car or maybe something like that to escape. And then all I have to animate is him standing up on the skateboard, which shouldn't be too difficult. And I think we have the base animation pretty much sorted and done with. All I've got to do now is add the skateboard, animate the money bag, probably add a background, and probably add some police cars and stuff like that, and we should be good. Alright, I think I'm finished animating the skateboard. Looks pretty good. Definitely adds a lot to the animation. Now you kind of get to see the vision. But what I think will really elevate this is the animation of the money bag. And you guys are going to see what I mean right after I finish animating this. And the money bag is finished. If I'm gonna be honest, this animation looks awesome so far. This might be the best animated in your series video ever, actually. But now that we've got the base animation complete, it's time to move on to the background. And this move-in street background by J70 looks perfect. It matches the wind speed of the bag. Everything is there, and it's a street, so you know it's where the police would be. And having this background actually does allow me to add camera work. I could add camera work without a background, but it would just look weird. This looks awesome so far, actually. The background adds way more than I thought. He jumps up on the sidewalk to grind on maybe a rail or something like that. I want to scrap the idea of him escaping the cops, because you know stealing is never good, and I want to send that message. So how about right here he actually gets caught? Maybe like a cop car comes in and slams him. Alright, I've added like a little part where he gets hit by a cop car or something like that. Now it's time to actually animate the cop cars. So next thing we have to add is a little grind rail. We do have some things to choose from. Yeah, honestly, there's definitely a better way to do this. Alright, I ended up just using a segment and stretching it out like that. And you know, while I was there, I might as well add the camera work. Got a little bit carried away, but at the end of the day, that means that the final animation is complete. It's been a nice 3 animations, you know. I already said it before, but this might actually be the best animated in your episode ever. This was a really fun one to do. I feel like all the animations came out great. If you guys want to see previous episodes, it should be in the middle of your screen right now. Click on that playlist and you'll be able to watch all the animated in your videos. It's a really cool series and you guys seem to like it a lot. It includes a community. You know, it's December. My wish for Christmas would be for you guys to subscribe. So hopefully you guys enjoy your Christmas, and I guess that's the end of the video. I don't know how to do an outro.